Hello, good minds. Welcome to this episode. Happy to have you back. We hope you enjoy yourself and do well to follow us on our social media platforms. It's Great Minds Africa. Today, basically, we're just talking about purpose, interrogate purpose, how we're able to discover purpose. When you discover purpose, what do you do with this and all that? But we titled it My Life in So What. So, what happened? Most of the time, our birth is celebrated, our death is celebrated. Even birthday anniversary, coincidentally, is one of us, our birthday is celebrated today. But nobody really takes time to sit down and think, why are we really here? Why are we probably celebrating all these things? Every 1 year, we celebrate the fact that we are still here. So, the big question becomes, why are we really here? Do we even have to think about why we are here? Is it a question that we need to find answer to? How do we find answer to that question? How does it help us? How does it help our bread and butter issues and all that? So that's what today's discussion will be about. So my first question or my initial thoughts that I want to quiz from all of us is, what at all is purpose? Or why are we all here?
But that's a big question. No? Can we read from the dictionary?
Okay, I learned something from Miles Monroe years ago. God rest his soul. He said something that purpose basically is the reason for which something exists or is made. So I think that hits it for me. So basically, from that understanding, I realized that it's the purpose for which we've been born, or probably we are existing in this life. From my end, that's what it is. It's virtually like a blender. A blender is meant for ABC. A kettle is meant for XYZ. So that's virtually purpose.
Bed
Why?
is meant for sleeping.
Super. And other things, recreational activities. When it comes to purpose, that's what comes to mind. So when they talk about purpose, what do you
Well,
think?
what I'm seeing on Google is saying something set up as an object or end to be attained. And I think I like the Cambridge one. It says an intention or aim or reason for doing something or for allowing something to happen.
I like that one too. And my understanding of purpose is a reason for something in general, whether work, a reason for existence, a reason for giving, a reason. So there is always that word, a reason. And that is what defines purpose to me. So if you are able to understand that I'm existing, like let's say even if you have siblings, okay, me being the firstborn, I'm supposed to guide them, I'm supposed to be there for them and show leadership. That's the reason. That's what makes you a firstborn. Then you begin to wonder if you cannot guide your siblings to the right path, then what's like makes you a big sister, what makes you a big brother, then your role has not been defined. There's no reason why they should call you a big sister. So if you see some families, you realize that some people they don't deserve that position or that role or to be called a big sister because they feel they haven't played the part based on reason that they didn't see the benefit. So there has to be a positive. Let me emphasize on that, the positive benefit of something. Now you are existing, I'm alive, and so what? Personally, if I'm going to be alive, I may be the last born, but I also have a responsibility to my parent. Yes, that's one. And my siblings as well, regardless whether I'm the last born. So if this is my goal, I want to achieve this, I want to get there, and happens to get there, and the older ones are not able to make it, can I pull them? That makes you a different last born.
Okay, I like the direction in which Faustin is going, but I have a basic question so that we streamline everything. It is, why are we here? Is it that we
Here
wake
on
up
earth or here in the studio?
on earth, not in the studio, on earth?
Okay.
Why are we here on earth? Why are we alive? Why are we still healthy? Why are we still breathing? Why do we still have life?
My sister used to joke that among thousands of sperm, she was able to run. So the fact that she's here before me means she's supposed to play a role that will help me because she got here before me. Now, when you say it like that why are we here? Sometimes it's not our decision to come here. It's mainly our parents' decision, whether ignorantly or not. It's their
You have no
decision.
choice.
Yes. No idea. You just happen to find yourself here. So
Ways or
that is one of the basic thing you should know. Finding yourself here is another thing. So now I'm here. Whether I'm wanted or not, I need to find my path. In this world, people get to grow up in a wealthy homes. They have everything at their disposal and they don't even see the need to even identify these things. Why am I here? Usually, even some well-to-do homes, some parents can be very like interested in what their kids become or what becomes of them. And so sometimes they even turn out to influence what you become without even you finding out why you are here. It's a big question. But to me, as I was growing up, I realized that being seen stubborn, and because I didn't start reading early, I needed to show forth my presence. Let me be known. Let them know that everyone that happens to be in this world shouldn't be underestimated, shouldn't be seen as you're not intelligent, you're not smart, you're not this or that. So you have it in you, but you have also I wake it in you yourself. So it took me a whole lot of talk from different people, this comparison and talk, and you being looked down upon, you can't make it, you can't do this. For me to realize that, why am I here? Why do some people seen as smart and I am not seen as smart? So I started searching for that knowledge. And then I realized that I had it all along. I just didn't realize it was in me. Then this was my purpose, for me to be a singer. There were a lot of things I felt like I could do. Even doing these things can impact someone's life, can uplift someone. Doing a whole lot of things that I've discovered about myself will not only serve me, but will go a long way of serving other people. Then there is a purpose for living. I had a cousin that I remember when we were young, every listening, she said, I should just die. They were words I didn't admire and I didn't like it. Then I started realizing that if the person feels things are not going in the way they feel like, they can feel like dying, it means there should be a need for you to know there is something that you're empowered with that you can do. So discovering that part of yourself will serve you well. Me personally, when I'm static and I'm not doing something and I'm not developing myself and I feel like I don't have a lot of things that I'm empowered with, I feel unutilized. I feel something is missing. I feel bored. I feel unhappy. So until I discover something interesting that I love and I discover it, I put in my 100%. Then this is the part I'm supposed to follow. And when I start on that part, nothing would hold me back. Even if I feel like turning onto other part, I know that eventually this is where I'm going to end. This is what I feel about purpose and other things that come with it.
Okay. Okay, so to add to all that you all have said, I want to add this definition to purpose, that it's a sense of resolve or determination. So to take it one after the other, is the reason for which something is created or was made to exist. That definition brings to life the real sense of purpose, such that everybody has a purpose or a reason for which they were created, no matter the race, social status, educational level, family background, no matter what, everybody has a purpose for which he or she was created. And like we also mentioned, we don't have much control over our coming here. It is not easy, first of all, to even discover your purpose, and it's also not easy to put in the effort to make it, right? But then, some way, somehow, if you don't discover your purpose or determined to make it, you'll be meaningless. You'll just actually existing throughout your life. You wouldn't find value for why you were created. Sometimes when I look back and I see, excuse me to say, how people grow up and turn out, I feel some way. Sometimes I feel pained because getting to the status that I am now, I have realized a whole lot of life, and I feel that life is somehow difficult. To say that you have to wake up every day, go to work, make a living. Excuse me to say, when you see some people living their life, they don't have any mission or vision, sometimes I feel pain. That on the side, it's a good thing to identify your purpose because it creates the path for you. It creates a guideline for you. You would actually know what you are aiming at and what you have to do, the strategies you have to put in place to get to where you want to get to. For me personally, believe in starting lives and then making an impactful memory of the people that I know or I'm close to. So then I feel my purpose is to, first of all, impact, because the memory I would leave with someone is the memory the person will carry until it runs out of their minds or something. To be purposeful for me mainly is make an impact. The people I see as friends or are close to me, I try my possible best to offer help in whatever way I can. Even in my family, I try to be supportive enough. I may not be the eldest, but then sometimes I take the lead. I do the things that my elderly siblings are not even doing. Sometimes I bring up the initiative as to why A, B, and C has to be this way. I find that fulfilling because if I hadn't put in place those things, maybe things may not go well. It may bring about this unity and all of that. For example, have found myself in a family where we are all not from the same mother, same father, and we also didn't grow up together. But then I didn't let not growing up together or not being from the same parents bring this unity or whatsoever. No, I wasn't so close to my siblings until somewhere SHS, but I didn't let that stop me from saying that no, this is my sister, regardless of the fact that we didn't grow up together or not. And then there are certain things they don't do for me, but I do for them. I don't really mind whether they are my elder siblings and they are supposed to be doing it. No, I still do it anyway. And there are some help that I don't think about that because they are the elders, they should be given to my parents. I still do that anyway because what's the point if my parents have bet me, have fought for me through school, financially, they've been there and all of that. And if I can support in any small way that I can, I should be thinking that because my elderly siblings haven't done so, I shouldn't do the same. No, I don't think of it that way. So the purpose why my parents gave birth to me, one of them is also to be there for them in their old age. I think about that more rather than focusing on whoever is older to play that role. I think of the reason why they gave birth to me and they even took care of me till where I am now. So for me, that is purpose. And even at the workplace, I also ask myself why I am there. I don't let the purpose only end in the family lane by saying I have to be there for siblings or parents. I sometimes put myself, not even sometimes, all the time, put myself in the shoes of the employer. Say that the employer is paying you so you could do A, B, and C. Not like this kind of employees that come to work, they do nothing the whole week. They just go around offices talking to other colleagues, those office politics, backbiting, and all of that. I try so much not to engage in those things because it is not purposeful for me. I wasn't employed to come and be going from office to office and then backbiting and then talking about how the employer didn't do so and so well. Because I always ask those people that if you are the employer, trust me, and you are given whatever task or mandate they are fulfilling or performing now, you can't even perform up to half of what they are doing. You should give credit to them for, at least even employing you and then making sure that you make some living out of working for them. Unless, of course, things are so bad that you can go approach the employer, there isn't a need for trying to say ill things about your employer. So that's briefly about my purpose. I identify my purpose both in family line, at the workplace, and even in church, that I have a reason to be at wherever I am. So if I find myself there, I have to make sure that I live per some standards, per some principles, some ethics, and all of that. So yeah, that's for me.
I think this question is actually big.
That's what I was saying. The question is very big.
It's gargantuan, eh?
I think if you don't mind, I can help us structure, so I can come with my questions. I have 1,001 questions from our submissions.
That would be great.
Help us.
Okay. The first question is it necessary to find purpose? The following one, like I have a twin question. So and the second one, is it an automatic process or an automatic experience? From what we are saying, we all seem to have discovered purpose. So what happens to some of us that have not discovered purpose?
It's really important. Like I said early on, that in certain families, parents would find a purpose for you. Sometimes you might not end up finding it yourself. In that case, individual discover him or herself. They wouldn't know that it's important to have a purpose.
How do families find purposes for their family members?
Some people say, I want a male child or I want a girl. And some will say, if I have a male child, I want the child to follow in my steps. If you're a doctor, if you're a lawyer, if you're this. So they start grooming you, even as you're a baby. You don't even know your path ahead. You are just a baby, innocent.
I don't know why I have parents. Are they not supposed to show me the way, inspire me, tell me that, you can do this?
Show you the way, but you see, if that was also not my path. What if I'll grow up to discover that I should be a musician? What if I'll grow up to discover that no, something else else interests me, and it's like I have it on my hand. When I touch it, things change. When I touch it, something innovative comes out of it. What about that? If you are being forced into a purpose you don't know, but it's already being structured for you.
I was going to go on the parents' tangents that do most parents even have like a purpose for their kids? Is it always the same as what the kids want for themselves?
Exactly my point. That is not it. So sometimes the child will grow up being fan of their parents, so they want to follow in that state. But with time, some of them will even realize that no, that's not my part, and it becomes a conflict between parents and kids. It's like you don't want to listen, you don't want me to guide you. I am your father, I am your mother. You don't respect. Like those things are now being attributed to you just because you want to find your purpose. But it is important because when you find it and you are even doing the thing, you get dividend from it or not, there is something that you get from it that is even priceless. You are fulfilled, you are happy, you are content, you are satisfied.
So from my experience, to attempt answering the two-in-one question, most importantly, there is virtually nothing that exists under the sun for existence sake. It definitely would have a reason or a purpose or something that is meant to do. So it's the same with human beings. Per my view, we are all here, we all take breath, we are all here on the surface of the earth for a specific purpose. However, discovering that purpose is an individual journey, which happens at different stages with different timelines and the different circumstances and all that. However, it's not all of us that discover purpose before we die. Unfortunately, per my view, per my observation,
Agree.
I realized that some people come, either live the life of others, either live in the shadow of others, either live a life other than what they probably were capable of living until they die for different reasons. And one of the major ones, I think, is what you were mentioning earlier. When it comes to whether discovering purpose is an automatic process, I still think it's no, because it takes a level of intentionality and certain elements for you to even come to the realization that I'm here for a reason. I have to discover why I'm here. Then also staying the course, like making sure that you pursue purpose no matter the odds. As Manya said, life as you grow, you understand that it's hard, it's difficult, yet it's worth living. So it's more or less like, should I say, a hyperbole?
Yeah.
Life is hard, it's difficult, but it's still worth living. And some of the things that make it worth living is what we call purpose, in my view. It makes you still see the light at the end of the tunnel when virtually those dark days that I can't see anything apart from your problem. So to me, that's what I think when it comes to purpose discovery and whether the discovery process is automatic or not. Now, I want us to tackle why a lot of people discover purpose. So probably I'm a young woman somewhere that can barely even find food and all. Like me, I'm just thinking of how to survive, where to get the next daily bread from, how to get the next roof over my head, how to get even the next clothes. If I'm such a person or you meet such a person, how do you educate them? How do you awaken their mind to the fact that they are here beyond the everyday bustle and hustle of life?
So just to touch on why some people may not discover could be because of peer pressure. If you ask me, throughout school, the people you associate with also have a contributing factor to how you would live your life. It would have some impact on you. So if you don't find yourself with the right people, it could have a dying effect on you. So for me, one reason why someone may not discover their purpose may be due to peer pressure. And then unfortunately, even as old as they become, they still cannot tear away from that kind of negative impact the peer pressure has left them with. They still try to live like they are still under the influence of other people. Meanwhile, at some stage or point, I feel you should detach and then be able to reason for yourself, make decisions that you think are right, put in the steps. But some people are still not able to do that. So that's one reason why somebody may not be able to discover their purpose.
Good. I like that. So back to my question again. So in case you met somebody like that hasn't discovered purpose for whatever reason, I gave probably economic reason or the family and condition under which you were born. You gave the fact that peer pressure could also be a reason why somebody will not be able to discover purpose. So if we meet such a person, how do you convince the person that they are here for something?
Okay, so like you said, it takes an intentional effort for the person to discover their purpose. Of course, you could talk to the person, you could say reasons or mentor the person as to why at this point of their life, this stage of their life, they need to discover why they are here. And then if they don't discover that, they would be of no value to society, to the family, and at the end, they themselves will be disappointed. So if I meet somebody in that kind of state, for me, I would first of all try to mentor the person, tell you why you are supposed to discover your purpose so you don't waste your life. But then it will still take an intentional effort. It will still be left to you yourself to decide whether you actually want to be purposeful or not.
Yeah, I agree too. Aside that, communicating with the person and then observing the person, you will be able to see a lot of things that is to the person than the person even is aware of. So you have to intentionally be saying it, like making those statements. You know, you are good with this. How do you feel about this? Because anytime I'm talking with you, I feel like you have this gift, you have this knowledge, you have this ability. Have you discovered that about yourself? Keep on throwing questions that will bring the person be aware of what the person possesses. The more the person is aware of it, the more the person is also in tune with it and want to find out more and want to know how to go that path, because then the person will realize that this comes naturally to me rather than the other ones that I have to struggle forcing myself to feed in, and I feel like still I'm not there yet, I can't get it. Then you get to know how to bring the person to the person's main cause. I call it voice of reasoning, and I believe that purpose comes in different forms. One person can have a lot of purpose. No, it's not only one. So sometimes you discover sometimes some people will be that voice of reasoning for you to realize that this thing about you, I don't know whether you are aware of it, it's really amazing. Then you get to think deep, and yes, this is what you have, and you realize it's amazing. You go towards that path. That is the same way I would lead someone to discover him or herself.
If you meet someone who is not living according to purpose, I mean, there's a lot of reason. Maybe the first one is maybe they don't know. Second one is maybe they don't care. And so it brings about an interesting conversation. Like you said, everything in life has a purpose. So maybe the person living a purposeless life is also that is their purpose. I don't know if that makes sense.
Anyway, we don't live in a perfect world, so you have a good
Funny.
point there. But you
Oh
see,
no, okay, but
let me shift something in. I feel from what Faustine was saying, which I think and Maunya, picking up from all that they were saying, it then dawned on me that it's very important to first of all you are. I feel that fundamental assignment, which we talked about in one of our previous episodes, it's very important that we all embark on it. We have to first of all know that who am I beyond my name, Faustine? Who am I beyond my name, Patrick? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What are the things that I love? Where do I want to see myself? What makes me come alive? What are some of my challenges and all that? I think
not to cut you, but you see that
Yeah.
journey of who am I? It's not like it's an event, right? It's a journey.
exactly.
And so sometimes you don't realize you're on that journey, or sometimes you don't even know you need that journey until someone brings it to your attention that, oh, what are you good at, or what do you like, or someone asks you a very provocative
Existential
question
question.
that sends you, yeah, that makes you start thinking. And so yes, it is intertwined, but maybe
Super.
sometimes this come first. Somebody asking you, so what do you want to do with your life? If
That's
at the
one
end
of
of
the
the day,
ways.
yeah,
I think that's one of the ways for the extroverts and all that. We have some of us that are very introverted and all that, who hardly even engage with people for us to be asked those questions. So probably like somebody like Faustine's cousin that thinks that it could be a medical condition. Apart from that, it could also be that they don't have anything that they're living for. So it's very easy for them to question why they're here. It could be so many reasons, but probably that could also be the starting point for the person to discover self. So as you rightly said, and I agree with you, discovering purpose, discovering self, it's more or less like a perpetual journey. Like how so far as we are alive, every day we learn. I think we get to discover ourselves virtually every day. What
yeah.
happens is I
I
feel
think for me, it is why I encourage people to take risk, to do things that people somebody might look at you and go like, you do this, or I never thought you would do this, because I feel that is the only way. Number one, you get to know yourself, and number two, you discover the things you like, or you discover your
Comfort zone,
yeah,
right?
hey.
exactly.
So you people are saying
Taking
that
risk.
those of us who are so are you saying that those of us probably we have people that are risk averse? So in case you are risk averse, you will not be able to discover self.
I don't think that's what
You
You're saying, but
get to find out some things about themselves through that path. Me, I might not necessarily be a risk taker. Doesn't mean I might also not discover through other ways. That's why I agree with him.
I would have preferred if probably had made a submission to sound. I encourage people to take risks because that's one of the ways. Then I'm sure that I'm circumvented.
that's actually what I said. That's actually what I said at the beginning. But
I agree with
anyway,
him, regardless whether he didn't even use that, is that he has said a lot of things before coming to this point. So I figured it's a lot of steps that he's giving different ways.
Okay, unfortunately, there are some of us that don't get it like that. The first click, they'll consider us to. You can continue.
yeah, but to tackle your points of risk aversion,
Mm,
risk aversion doesn't mean you shouldn't be adventurous. It shouldn't mean you should be in one room your life forever and ever. You should dare. You should dare to do things that you like. Risk aversion does not necessarily mean that you shouldn't chase after your dreams and your ideas.
good.
So that's what I mean by risk. You should go outside of comfort zone. You should try things that if you look back, if you look back 5 years from now, you go like, wow, I never thought I would be able to do this. I never thought I'll be here.
Can we also use challenge?
Let me give you an example, right? I have
Can we
a
also
friend.
use challenge?
Can you also use
Challenge yourself. Move
challenge?
out of
Yes,
your
challenge yourself.
comfort zone. Do
Exactly.
something new.
Exactly. I think maybe that's a better way for it. To challenge yourself, right?
Okay.
Challenge yourself to put yourself in a situation where you wouldn't. An example I was going to give was a friend who is a very good writer. It's actually a she. She's a very good writer. She writes at work. She writes a lot of minutes for people to go and read. And there was a day where everyone is like, no, don't read it. She should go and read it herself. And because they put her in that corner, she was forced to read. And later she was like, if you asked me 3 years ago whether I would stand in front of like a crowd of 100 or 1,000 people and read, I would told you never. But right now that I've done it, I can see it's not anything and I'll continue doing it. And you see, outside of that self, or outside of that situation, you're able to discover a new part of yourself, which is in this case public speaking. So that's what I mean.
Super, I get you. So from what we've said so far, I'm deducing two things. The first one of the ways to discover self is to be self-aware. Another one is to go on the discovery journey by accepting challenges. Are we on the same page?
Yeah.
Okay, so which other way can we discover purpose?
Yeah, challenge yourself, facing your fears, traveling outside of your comfort zone. And for me, my thought process is always, if I do something and I don't like it, I can always stop. Nobody will kill me. I can always stop. I always venture into it. If I don't like it, I stop.
Are you not speaking from a place of privilege?
Well, privilege, that's very true. But you see, privilege is relative and it continues to be relative. I'm not saying that you should risk everything at every point in time. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying if you have the room to fail, you should take it.
I also think being determined and ambitious can also get you to discover your purpose. I have a friend, she usually sees it's always in my mind, it's always ringing in my mind. She said she always asks herself, look at these people, they are working here, they are doing a whole lot. She doesn't just follow people on social media just to following people like celeb or whatever. No, that's not her goal. She only follow people who have achieved something, just like us in our age group, but they have been able to make it to this point. And then she always asks herself, how come we've gotten there? Getting this motivation from them, knowing about their stories, reading other things can also help you to discover your purpose. It's something I feel it resonates with me. I also think it's also one of the things that can also get you, and you are determined and motivated, achieve it even more than you expect you.
Oh, okay, great. So I want us to now bring it home. Have we discovered purpose? If yes, can we share what our various purposes are?
Can we be more specific, or you just want us to generalize it in?
So I can give an example.
Sure.
These are probably things that I enjoy and I think about a lot. I like potential questions and all that. I think it puts life into perspective for me. So personally, when you ask me who am I, what's my purpose, I will tell you that I'm first of all a nurturer and maximize things. So what do I mean by that? I have discovered that what makes me happy alive, what makes me come alive, what comes to me naturally is to leave things better than I've met them. So whether at my workplace, in my family, with my personal relationship, my love relationship, what else, school, whatever engagement I find myself in, I want to leave it better than I found it. So even if probably I find myself in a group and I'm the only person that can see that we can do better than probably we are doing in the group, it comes naturally to me to take it upon myself to do what I probably can do or influence or indirectly lead or bring it to bear why we should do better. So basically, that's my purpose for now. I don't know whether it's going to evolve or I'm going to add something to it and all that, but that's where I am now. For me, my purpose.
Patrick doesn't really know his purpose yet, though. He's working on it.
Okay.
He's still in the journey form. It's the reason I try a lot of new things.
But I'm curious to know, you started the journey, what have you discovered so far?
Since I've started the journey, what have I discovered so far?
Yeah.
One that I like talking, but not always. Sometimes. Sometimes I
Okay.
like quiet. Sometimes I like to be on my own.
Okay.
Yes, that is why I'm always coming to your room to come and talk sometimes. And I leave after I'm done. After I'm tired,
Yeah.
and I leave.
And you don't engage when I come?
Yes, because I'm tired and I want to be alone.
Okay. So I think that's the self-discovery phase. Or what do you think?
Yes. I don't think that phase ends. I think there'll be a time where something you used to like, you won't like it anymore.
I agree, but you know, from what I've experienced so far, I realize that there's some things that are going to be the basics of, they form the basis. The building blocks probably might change, some might add on, you might subtract some, but what you fundamentally are made of, I think
That will not change.
it doesn't change easily.
So what are you fundamentally made of?
Yeah, so fundamentally, let's say the first pillar that I'm made of is I have a mind of my own. So I've realized that even as a child, although I live in very predominated areas, maybe dominated by adults, this particular type of adults and all that, I still see that no matter what, I'm able to maintain and have my independent thoughts. So there was a phase where I probably might not air it, and now there's a phase where I'll air it in some circumstances. I'm sure I'm probably going to get to a phase where I'll air it in virtually in all circumstances. But what I am discovering is that as the days go by, I have better skills. I have skills or more skills to better navigate this basic component of mine, which is to have a mind of my own. I realize too that I am highly ambitious. I set very, very high standards for myself to the point that sometimes I get very, should I say, restless. But if I don't do it like that too, I don't feel alive. Like my blood doesn't kick in. I can talk about the disadvantages too, but I want to focus on just this two. So these are the basic building blocks that make me, that I've seen that has been consistent when I was young, doing from days that probably I can remember that my personality, this is who I am, up to my old age now. Am I clear, Patrick?
Yeah, I'm getting you.
Okay. So that's it.
So let me ask you a question. How did you discover that? Maybe this can us back to a previous recording, but how, in as simply as you can put it, how did you discover like you are somebody who likes to have independence of thought?
Okay, so I do audit of virtually everything I do, whether good or bad. Everything, I make sure that I audit it, especially when I'm about sleeping. Initially, I used to just do it roughly in my head and all that. But with time, I started writing them down, journaling. So some of the questions I asked myself, so this thing that I did, how did it make me feel? What will I have done better? Have I done better? Was I satisfied? Did I live fulfilled? Did I live happy? Is there a better way I could have done it? Or I'm just satisfied by the outcome or whatever? So those are some of the things that I do. And I realized that as I do them, I know that some of the things I like, some of the things I don't like. Then with time, it started to take shape. Should I give you another example? For example, I realized that I underestimate myself a lot. For whatever reason, I underestimate myself a lot. And I rather hear people say things that I should be very, very self-aware of me. And I rather hear people say it, and I'm like, okay, for me to now make big deals out of them. And I realized that I don't want to be like that. I want to make sure that before somebody comes to tell me this and this and this, whether good or bad about me, I should have an idea that that's who I am first. So the person virtually becomes just a witness to my positives and my negatives. No third party should be able to know me better than myself. So I think that's where it started for me. Also, I can go on and on because I don't want to regret things. I try as much as possible to make sure that I know what I'm about, so that whatever decision that I make in every circumstance in my life or every point in time in my life, I am accountable for it, whether good or bad. So even if I depend on your advice, guidance, or something to make a certain decision, at the end of the day, I should be able to own the end result. So these are some of the few things that made me or compelled me or propelled me to discover self, and most importantly to reading. One good thing about life is that say other people have lived life before we are living, and they've left us the treasure of leaving us the treasure of their thought in the form of books, audiobooks, copy books, conferences, TED Talks, and all that. So when I listen to them, then I calm down to apply, or I think about it, take out things and all that. I rest my case.
I was saying that I happened to discover my purpose through a lot of things that I've been through, because I'm searching for results, solutions for it, for me not to be in that space, for something not to repeat itself again.
Have discovered some, and I think I'm still discovering some. In one sentence, I think my purpose is to live an impactful life and be of help to others. No matter where I find myself, I have to leave a mark.
Okay. I think it ties into what you said earlier.
Yeah, in each sphere of life, I have to be impactful and then helpful. And also, the purpose I have discovered, I think, has built my strength. I now know what I can do, my capability, and the ones I can't do.
Are you trying to be helpful because probably of societal expectation? You are trying to be helpful because you are the firstborn? Why do you come to the conclusion that that's your purpose?
Okay, deciding to be helpful because I think people need help. You would never know what's going on in the lives of others, and also because of personal experiences. I think people need help, and then extending a hand of help will go a long way to change somebody's life because of personal experiences.
Do you mind sharing one?
Of those personal experiences. Yes, in my family, for example, let's say among my dad's siblings, it's no news that my daddy's younger brother was the one who actually paid school fees for one of my daddy's children. It's been a habit they've embarked on and they've been doing. So casting my mind back, so if not for my daddy's younger brother paying school fees for so and so, he or she would have been denied education just because maybe they've realized among themselves that as siblings, this person does not have the financial capability to sponsor the education of his own children. So they take the children as though it's theirs. And yes, it's theirs because they are siblings. So they do the needful by helping financially. No matter the cost of your education, they see you through to the university. I mean, coming out from that kind of family background, I deem it necessary that help is necessary.
Super. It's now crystal clear. Thank you.
Like you all rightly said, yes, we all are still on the journey. But then I've realized that one of my purpose as well, same as Maunya, is to impact, support others, push them, empower them for them to achieve something great.
I guess up to the point where you were saying it's needed to be impactful and then help.
Yes,
help
and I
people.
said that I've realized that I have one project that is to support the youth. So the Great Mind Initiative came. I felt it resonates with me and I was very much into it. So still discovering new purpose. This is the only one that I think currently on that path.
In one sentence, what's your purpose?
To impact.
Oh, just like Maunya. Okay. Why do you think that's your purpose?
The world has taken me through a journey that for my age, I would have assumed that I shouldn't have gone through that journey.
To tie it finally is how well purpose has served us, discovering purpose has served us.
So yeah, discovering purpose for me has served me well because it has made me develop some objectives as to how I want to achieve my goals. You know, to be purposeful, you can't just do things for doing sake. You have to do things for the aim or for the end goal. So discovering purpose, I would say, has served me well. It has made me align my path and my doing. So I have a reason for doing what I do. I don't just do it because, let's say, Kofi has done it. No. Even if Kofi has done it and I still want to do it, it may be because the aim of Kofi doing that is the same aim as mine. So yes, discovering purpose has served me well, and it has made me to live life on a certain path that I know would let me achieve an end goal.
I will also say that the purpose has served me well, as in the currently, like I said, is to impact. And I feel like on that path already, not only on this platform, but on other platforms, find support and impact knowledge I already have other people, so that I previously took, they wouldn't have to take that long path. They'll just get it straight away and even be bigger than me. And it's always satisfying to see someone that you have mentored or guided or influenced being on an extraordinary path and doing so well. It gives you that fulfilling pleasure or feeling. And I think so far I am on that path and I'm still continuing doing that.
That makes sense. I think it saves me time and energy. I don't venture into things that I know are not for me. I don't do things that will take my energy or will waste my time because I know that this is not for me. Like an example, when the Smarks International came and all my friends were jumping into it, and then someone told me about it, and I was like, Charlie, this thing is not for me. I don't have the strength, the energy, the mental fortitude. I just don't have the strength to be walking up and down and selling something for someone in the hopes of getting a car one day. I just don't have it. So I didn't embark on it. I didn't do anything. And that period, there were so many testimonies and things going out. So what purpose does for me is that it helps me save my time and energy and focus it into things that I feel like I can do well and make an impact.
Okay, so I think for me, I share in virtually all that we've tabled. I want to add that purpose basically helps me on those gloomy days, on those days that I'm like, why am I here? Am I wasting my time here? Because I'm on that journey, discovering purpose, and the fact that I have an idea of some of the reason why I'm here, it makes me curious. It makes me still hold on even when the going gets tough. Also, purpose basically makes me come alive. So as Manya said, the peer pressure and all those things don't really come to me. All the peer pressure is not always negative, but at the end of the day, even if I'm in a group thing, I'm doing something per a group decision and all that, I still own the process because I try to find my personal purpose in the group's purpose. So basically, purpose has served me well, and I think it's a good journey to go on. If you have not started the journey of purpose discovery, I want you to take this as a cue to start that journey. I want you to take this as a cue to know that that journey of self-discovery and purpose discovery is not a day's journey, but it's virtually a forever journey. So far as you are alive, it will be worth it to find your purpose. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
All too soon, we've come to the end of this episode. The conversation continues on our next episode. Kindly do well to take a listen, and let's keep the conversation going on our social media platforms. It is Great Minds Africa. Remember, you were born great, so thrive.